Hey there, welcome to my studio here at home. I'm James. Today's practice will be a Yin restorative practice, very gentle. Pretty much I think anyone is able to do this practice. You will require a little bit of equipment. I will leave a link for the type of equipment that I use at the bottom of the video in the description column. But we do need these for today's practice, okay? You don't have to use a yoga bolster. If you have one, that's great, but I just use a pillow that I have on my sofa, or sometimes I might use two pillows, stack them on top of each other. You can have a cork block or a foam block. The foam block is a little softer, especially when you place it behind your back, but then again, that's up to you. And we'll start actually on our back today using the blocks, and I'll show you how to set that up, okay? Oh, we'll also be using a strap. Do prepare the strap, put it through the buckle, bring it around and loop it so that it's nice and taut, and we'll use this to stretch our legs, okay? So again, very gentle, very restorative. This is especially good for those that have, let's say, higher blood pressure or any shoulder issues and hand, wrist issues where, for example, you can't hold a downward facing dog for too long. For the most part, we'll be either on our back or maybe on the belly. But again, a gentle practice. Okay, let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to use the foam block for my back, and I like to position this lengthwise up the back, and I try to bring it towards the middle. The other block I'm going to use like a pillar, and it's going to support my neck. Okay, so I position the block right around above the lower back, centered about the spinal column. I'll use the forearms and the hands here to slowly come down, positioning the block in a comfortable place. And then the other block, I'm going to bring it behind, and as I said before, like a pillar, I'm going to position it so that it supports the base of the skull. And this way you'll get a nice little maybe neck stretch also. Now the feet. You can rest the legs over your pillow, your cushion, or you could bring the soles of the feet together and then allow them to butterfly open. Start to relax here. Start to allow your weight and your back and your head to really settle onto the blocks. Your attention, your awareness, bring it to your breath. Lengthen your breath through the nose. And exhaling as you sigh it out. Noticing that release of tension in the space between the shoulder blades, through the inner thighs. If this is a bit much for the inner thighs, you can have a block supporting the thighs on each side. Or you can extend and relax the legs here. Okay, so really your choice on how you want to position the legs. So the legs could be here. But your mid-back, your upper back, descending, sort of falling with gravity, surrendering to gravity here. And again, bring your attention to the breath. Close the eyes here. So in a way, it is a form of meditation as well. Allowing your thoughts to come and go as they pass, but not really attaching or hanging on to any particular thought or emotion. Focusing more and more on the incoming and outgoing breaths. Noticing the rib cage, the heart center, opening a little bit more each time as you inhale. And sometimes you might practice what we call in yoga langhana, as you pause and hold your breath at the top of your inhale. Noticing descending shoulders, softening back of the neck, maybe even feeling a little bit of stretch through the neck here, as maybe the chin relaxes towards the throat, towards the chest. Now for a few breaths, you might keep the lips closed, seal the lips, the mouth closed, and the exhale is also now through your nose. And as your tongue gently presses against the upper palate, you'll notice a slightly different sound as you exhale out through the nose. Slowly begin to wiggle the toes a bit. Wiggle the fingers or rub the fingertips maybe against the thumb on each side. And opening, closing hands or circling the hands around as you make a fist with each hand. And then if you had the knees butterflied open, slowly wiggle the feet, the legs, so you could slowly relax and extend through the legs, resting your legs over your pillow or over your bolsters, and then slowly slide your forearms in closer towards you and start to press into the floor, gently lifting the head first and then gradually the back. The block, we'll put them over to the side, and we want to scoot down, come down to our back and hug the knees into chest here. Sometimes it might feel good to keep the head off the floor, forehead towards knee, wrapping the arms around the shins, and then gently relaxing head back onto the floor, decompressing through the mid back and lower back. If you could grab opposite elbows, that's great. If not, you might just hang on to the legs here, your palms over your shins, just below the kneecap. Okay? Otherwise, Apanasana, wrapping arms around, hands holding opposite elbows. And you want to focus on elongating spine here. So we actively press lower back into the floor. Even though the posture is very static, you hardly notice any movement, right? But energetically, you're trying to shift and press your lower back and your tailbone towards the floor. You might notice your knees pressing into your forearms, and you might draw the belly button inward towards the spine as you exhale through the mouth. Or you might exhale out through the nose. The chin, you'll try to tuck it in just a bit more, elongating and flattening out the back of your neck. Excellent. As you release, keep your left leg extended and relax the leg. Your right knee, bring it in towards the chest here. Interlace hands over the shin and press and massage the right hip socket. Circle the knee around here. I'm going clockwise for now, but you might start counterclockwise and then reverse. So your choice here. Massaging into the hip socket, left and right motions a few times. And we might really press that knee into the right armpit here,
We'll pull the elbows down. Our grip is firm. The forearms and the biceps are working, but your shoulders are relaxing. Good. Extend your foot up towards the ceiling now. And interlace behind the leg and just work through the ankle a bit here. Circle the foot about the ankle joint. Point and flex back and forth. Maybe fan toes open, curl toes closed a few times. If you were going clockwise with the foot, now counterclockwise. And if your ankle ticks, crackles, and pops quite a bit, slow the motion, slow down that movement, that orbital motion. Good. Releasing, switching side. Left knee comes in, interlace below shin, and begin to massage. Counterclockwise circles, moving the knee and the femur bone, the leg bone, in circular fashion here. Move a bit left and right. Massage the hip socket. Good. Give it a good squeeze into that left armpit side again, really interlacing. Firm interlace over the shin, but again softening through the trapezius, through the shoulders, forearm and biceps contracting a bit to press and squeeze. And then release. Extend foot up towards the ceiling. As much extension as you can. Your hands interlace behind leg and support. And your ankle moves just a little bit here. Your foot circling about the ankle joint. And curling fingers, open, close, fan toes open, point, flex. A few circles in the other direction. And then again, hug the knees back into chest. Rock a little bit left and right. Excellent. And then now we'll go ahead and bring the feet onto the pillow. Just give yourself a little bit of room there. And then you're going to go ahead and figure 4 right foot shin across the left here. You want the shin to sort of be, the ankle shin portion to be resting mostly against the outside of your left thigh. I'm going to wiggle the left foot or move it slightly to the left, and I'm going to gently start to let the knee and the thigh on the right side move to the right. I might place a block to support the thigh on this side here. It depends on how tight this iliotibial band is feeling for you, okay? So a block might help. If you don't need it, you'll notice that then gravity starts to pull a bit more, the knee, or gravity doesn't pull more. Your knee just falls a bit more towards the floor, and that sensation might give you a deeper stretch through the IT band. You want to keep your hips sort of in the center. Left foot to the right, and right knee and thigh relaxing, descending over to the right side. Through upper back and shoulders, relax, and bring your attention to your breath again. Noticing maybe a little stretch through the left pelvis, the iliotibial or IT band, outside of the left thigh. If you want a bit more, even your right foot heel can actively press against the outside of the left knee thigh. Gently as you release. Nice and slow, coming back up to center. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Allow the knees to butterfly open in supported cobbler's pose or supta baddha konasana. Wiggle around a little bit here, relax through the inner thighs. Again, one block on each side, supporting your thighs if you need to. Otherwise, your thighs, knees descend and open in opposite direction here as your upper back and shoulders settle. Eyes close, attention to our breath. Good. Slowly, as you blink the eyes open, stretch the legs out again. Flex toes towards you, contract through the thighs. Pull the belly button into the floor now as you engage your glutes just a bit also. So your lower back should be pressing against your mat or your floor. Now reach back and take a nice long pencil stretch. Flex toes towards you. Big inhale here. Exhale it out. Maybe pointing toes away and still contracting the thighs. Good. Hug the knees into the chest. Press lower back down. Feet come down. We're going to figure 4 left over right this time, wiggling our right foot to the right edge of the mat, and then letting the knee and thigh on the left side descend towards the floor, towards the left here. The weight of our left leg and shin and foot is pressing against the outside of the right thigh, stretching through the IT band. The further you wiggle your right foot maybe away and to the right, you'll shift the foot a little bit there to see where the IT stretch you feel the deepest. Okay, if it's a bit much, you might have to readjust, right? So finding comfort and ease in the asana also. And attention to our breath. Slowly as you're releasing, sliding the left foot off the thigh and bringing the feet back to come together. Wiggle the hips to center, lower back and press, and allow the knees again to butterfly open, right? So right back into Supta Baddha Konasana. Let's take 5 breaths here. Good. Slowly blink eyes open again. Extend legs or maybe hug the knees into the chest. Forehead comes up. Hold on to the legs from below now. Rock a bit back and forth. Maybe you build a little bit of momentum. Just to massage the mid-back and the lower back. And really flex thighs here and shake out the feet, ankles just a bit as you extend your feet up towards the ceiling. Good. Let's go ahead and have a seat and bring that pillow behind us now. Now, you'll set up the block and the bolster and the pillows together. So if you have two blocks, great. If not, one may work also. So you position the blocks this way. One is positioned on its short sort of side, and then you want the other one kind of pressed next to it like that. Okay? And then either two or one pillow behind you. Depends on how thick sort of your pillow is. Okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and come to the knees and the shins. And this is a really good stretch for the quadriceps and a deeper flexion for the knees, especially if you have tighter ligaments and tendons through the knees and you want to stretch those out a little bit, as well as through the ankles here. This is a really good stretch. Now, this might be a bit much. So you might place a block, for example, and sit on the block here. And I'm going to show you this level by level. So this is sort of the more beginner level. If this is a bit much, you might initially be here, maybe hands supported there, and gradually allowing the tops of your feet and your ankles to sort of open up here. Same with that flexion with the knee. It might be a bit much. You might sit on a block or you might shift your weight more forward. But over time, this will start to transition to more of this sort of supported hero pose, and the support is coming with the help of the bolster and the blocks behind us. So I'm going to shift back a bit here. I'm pretty tight today because I went for a run, so my knees do feel tight also, but I'm still slowly kind of working it. I'm keeping the knees a little wider apart, allowing my hips to settle between my feet, and then with the support of my arms here, I'm going to come back and rest the back on the pillow there. Now this is a pretty deep stretch for the thighs, so again, please modify if you need to, relaxing the head open. I'm allowing the throat to stretch open a bit here, and again, attention to the breath. Try to relax through your lower back and your glutes. Don't contract your glutes there. And I know that the thigh stretch, quadriceps stretch, especially through the rectus femoris here, might feel really, a lot for you. Might be a bit much for you here, right? It might be a deeper stretch. Breathe into it. If it's a bit much, slowly come out of it here. Slowly, as you blink the eyes open, you might hang on to the feet or the ankles, and forearms slowly wiggle to come pressing floor away as you come off and send the weight forward and up here, shifting weight forward and gradually coming forward here. Now we definitely do need to release those kinks out of the knees. So let's go ahead and bring our blocks with us to the front of the mat. Hands on the blocks. Okay, let's go ahead and curl toes under. Hips up, downward facing dog. Stretch it out here. Now initially I did say we won't be coming into this position often, and again, this is very brief. It's mostly to kind of just pedal the knees and the feet a little bit here to get some dynamic sort of motion going here through the inner thighs and the knees and the joints, and release a bit there. If it feels good to statically hold and really press floor away here, belly button hug it in, and tune into the length across the backs of the legs as you inhale and exhale through the nose. Soften neck, nodding head, yes, maybe shaking head, no. Really flexing thighs, maybe even lifting up your toes if your heels touch down. And slowly as you release, coming down, and let's go ahead and come to a child's pose or a balasana. So initially we'll just put the blocks over to the side, maybe bring your pillow or your bolster close towards you here. And as you keep the knees a little bit wider, bring the feet a little closer together. And then relaxing, and your forehead can rest here. If you don't need the pillow, you can be here, or maybe even your forehead could be on your block here as you rest. Softening through your shoulders a bit more, wiggling those shoulders away from ears, allowing for the elbows to descend and relax. Same with the forearms. The block does help because it keeps the head just about heart level. Now if you want a bit more, you could remove the block. You could reach the hands further forward and settle the forehead down. You'll pull your shoulder girdles back to find space between ears and shoulders. And your elbows now might be off the floor, hovering off the floor. Palms of your hand pressing floor away, sitting more into your heels. Okay, and lengthening breath here. Good. Slowly as you lift and rise out of your child's pose, lower down to your forearms. You could bring the knees a little closer together. You could curl toes under and circle the hands around just a bit here. Make a fist, open, close a few times. Come on to the hands, or you can come on to your blocks also this way. Okay. And hands maybe a little bit about wider than shoulder distance or slightly shoulder distance apart here. Belly button, pull it in just a bit. Let's find a neutral tabletop first, so more of a straight spine, and then belly down, arching, coming into the lumbar curve, the lordotic curve, inhaling here and really extending through the sternum forward. Exhaling, rounding back. Chin towards chest, pressing floor away, and actively tuck tailbone underneath you here. Long neck, shoulders away from ears. And then again, inhaling into cow. Exhaling, cat. Eyes of our elbows facing forward. Inhaling, cow. Exhale in cat. Inhale in cow. Exhale, round back, press hands into floor or the blocks. One more time. Good. Blocks over to the side. Now, we're going to go ahead and place our left hand in the center. Okay. Inhale and sweep that right arm up, reach here. And then as you exhale, thread your arm through to the right. If you need to bring your cushion or your block or your pillow and rest your arm shoulder on the block, that might be a good option also. If you don't need it, then gently lower your head down, your right side of your face sort of touching down here. And then the left hand, you could reach it forward and over to the right corner of your mat, or you could limp arm, relax it behind your back. Tilt the chin slightly inward here, comfortable neck, position the shoulder, and breathe. Good. Your left hand slowly comes back, gently as you press and lift up the head and shoulder arm and bring that right arm, shoulder arm out and take a few circles here, nice and slow. You might go in the other direction also. Just notice how the shoulder girdle feels. Okay, let's do one cow and cat here, Vidalasana. As we inhale, coming into Vitalasana, cow. Exhaling, Marjariasana, cat. Good. Right hand in the center more, closer to your left hand. Press into it. Inhale and sweep that left hand nice and high. Exhale and thread it through. Suchika Sutrasana or thread the needle pose. Left shoulder coming down, kind of we line that up with our left knee and shin. We look to the right and relax the left side of our head and face. And we can again rest right arm behind back, or we could walk it forward and reach towards the front left corner of the mat. Your choice here, or the hand could just rest beside you. Okay, tilt the chin slightly in, lengthen breath through the nose. Good. Slowly as your right hand comes back to help you press floor away here and bring that left arm out. Let's send that left arm back up high and circle a few times. Maybe go the other direction also. One more cow and cat in the center. Good. Now we'll go ahead and sit our left hip down, coming into a pigeon here. Now, beginner level pigeon, you can keep your legs, your back leg, your right leg is going to be bent, okay? So you'll just kind of sit on that left hip side a bit more, and you'll try to turn a bit to your left, and you might start to lower down forward. If that's a bit easy, Then you could start to wiggle the knee, the right knee, towards the center of the mat with the top of the right foot shin resting there. And then your pillow could be here as you come into resting pigeon here. If you're really tight through the hip, you might, and like for example, if the hip was really high off the floor, you could place a block underneath and you can sit on that block there, right? So just notice how the left knee feels on this side. You might be higher, you might be here with your pigeon, or you might be here relaxing with your pigeon, okay? Now internally rotating a bit through that right inner groin, like we want to draw our right pelvis towards the floor also, okay? Soften through the neck and shoulders. Good. Slowly as you press floor away, go ahead and sit on that left side. And now, as you bring your right foot leg around, you're going to extend your left foot heel away, and you're going to cross your right foot leg over your left here. So you're going to sit up tall here, and you're going to extend through that left heel. Hug your right knee into your chest with your left arm, hand, okay? Right hand behind you for support. This is a variation of Ardha Matsyendrasana, seated twist. Gentle with the lower back and the spine. As we sit up tall, inhaling, elongating, exhaling, little micro turns. Those with any sort of back procedures in the past, let's say you have any herniated discs or back surgeries, this one you don't want to go too deep. You want to focus more on the sitting up tall, engaging your core, and you're just scanning and gently looking to your right. You want to be very aware of your spine here as you sit up tall, evenly seated on the sit bones. Softening shoulders away from ears, the neck is soft. Gradually the chin might descend towards the chest as we start to look behind us. Slowly as we release. Now, we come to a pigeon on the right side, so we keep the right foot to the left edge of the mat, the right knee to the right edge. Beginner level, you might just keep the knee bent, the left side, and you might sit up in your pigeon this way, and focusing on releasing through the hip as you relax forward, keeping this foot sort of flexed as you come down. Those that want a bit more, you might start to press lift and get that left knee towards the center more and start to come down with the hip on the right side, kind of wiggling the top of the left shin and foot back. So if I keep the shin more perpendicular across, it becomes much harder to lower the hip down. So I'm going to put a block on this side. I'm going to lower down to the block here. Okay? Inner thigh, internal rotation, to turn and draw left pelvis towards the floor. If you have extra blocks, they could come in handy, of course. You could kind of keep your hands on the blocks if you want. Softening through neck and shoulders. Let gravity do most of the work. You focus on the breathing and internally scanning. Good. Slowly as you press to lift here. Maybe put that block over to the side. Lower the right hip down. Shift your weight to the right side a little bit here so you can extend your right foot heel away. As you wiggle back to the center of your mat, your left foot comes around. Now you're seated even on your sit bones and you just crossed your right leg with your left foot. Sit up tall here, belly button in. Inhaling right arm. Exhaling, coming across your left thigh. And then you could use that to gently press. Left hand behind you for support. Again, belly button in. So a lot of Uddiyana Bandha engagement here as we sit up tall. And we turn and gradually exhaling, micro-turning to the left. Same sort of caution with the spine and the intervertebral discs. Check to see you're evenly seated on the sit bones. Chin softening down. Slowly as you release, coming back to center. Good. Now one block you'll bring with you. I'm going to use the foam one today. I'm going to scoot down first. Let's hug the knees into the chest a little bit here. Rock a bit left and right, or circle the knees around, massaging the lower back. Or you might take a happy baby pose. Peace finger, hook the big toes, or you might grab the outside, the outer blades of the feet here, and really pressing the feet in towards the floor. The shins will keep them vertical. If you want a little extension, you can do that. Don't force it though here. Good. And now let's come to a supported back bend. Well, I'm going to take the block, I'm going to position it this way this time, right? So before I had it lengthwise, so it was sort of parallel with the length of my spine, but now I'm going to position it this way, and I want to support the hips and the lower back with that. So just make sure that it's nice and even there. Some like to position it this way too. They'll turn it and position the mid-back. They want a deeper back bend. That's okay. I position it more like a brick, flat, kind of supporting here. Okay. Now, once it's comfortable in a comfortable position, you might wiggle around a little bit to find that comfortable position, because you want that lumbar to sort of open up just a bit as the spine sort of starts to fall upwards, away from the hips, from the tailbone, and then the feet can come together in butterfly open. So this is a pretty comfortable position for most. Some might like a slightly deeper back bend, and they might extend their feet out here, okay? Relaxing here, upper back and shoulders grounded down. Again, we'll close the eyes, our attention to the breath. Good. Now if your knees were open, you'll start to slowly bring the soles of the feet back down and bring the inner thighs and knees together. You'll gently press the hips off the block here and put the block over to the side, and then one vertebrae at a time, you'll draw your spine and your lower back to the mat. Hug your knees back to your chest. And really press here to stretch, releasing through the lower back. Good. Take a passive twist to your right here. So you could lower the feet down first, wiggle the hips a little bit to your left, and then relax your knees over to the right. If you want to extend your feet out, you're welcome to do so. And the palm of your right hand can sit on the outside of your left thigh. It'll sort of internally rotate and massage that outer thigh towards the inner portion, like you want to roll and press it towards the floor. Okay? Do that more so during your exhales. You might turn a little bit to the left as long as your neck is feeling okay. So the neck is twisted in the opposite direction versus the knees and the lower back. Breathe into this belly rib cage on the left side. Well, as you're breathing, don't press so much with the hand. As you exhale, then press a bit with your hand. Slowly releasing, coming back up to center. Knees travel over to the left. We might wiggle the hips a little bit to the right. And again, option to extend feet away or not. You could keep the knees bent too. Palm of the left hand against the outside of the right thigh. And again, rolling action to press that outer thigh towards the floor. Meanwhile, maybe looking to the right, soften through the neck and shoulders. Breathe into the belly ribcage on the left side, and then as you exhale, you might pull the belly in, press more with your left hand. Gently as you release, head, neck, lower back, mid-back, all back to a neutral center position. Let's hug the knees back into the chest. And feel free to rock a bit side to side here, or move left and right, circle the knees around. Excellent. Now we'll go ahead and take our strap. If you need a block or a little cushion here for your neck support, especially if you have that sort of cervical curve, it's a little bit deeper for you, a little cushion there might be a good support for the neck here, okay? Now, I have the strap in a loop, so I could take the straps sort of double layer and bring it over the ball of the right foot. This way, I have a good sort of grip here with my palms in the loops on each side. Firm grip in the strap, right? Now I'll start to really flex toes towards me. I'll let the hip and the leg relax a bit. And so initially I won't be pulling. I'll just let the leg extend. Some are really tight here, right? Their knee might be bent and they might not be able to get that extension. For you, you might loosen the strap so you have more length and let the foot travel further away, and that way you could get more extension. So noticing stretching through the Achilles, through the calf muscle, through the hamstring, and then gradually letting the hips settle, flexing toes towards you if you want to engage this a bit more, and then bringing the foot overhead. Elbows soften towards the center, so this way you could pull more with your biceps as the palms face towards you. But do notice if your knee's starting to bend or not. So if you're forcing it and the knee is bending, then you might ease up a bit so you can extend, flex toes towards you, dorsiflexion, and then pull the foot overhead. You'll come to a point of resistance. If you need to back out a bit, do so. Breathe here. Or you might open the elbows apart, relax through the shoulders more, and just let the weight of your arms and hands gradually pull the foot back through the strap. Contracting the quadricep. That way there's an antagonistic action here to stretch the hamstrings even more. Now slowly as you relax, take the strap into your left hand. So both loops go into the palm of your left hand. Let that foot heel travel away and over to your left side. And you can pull the foot now closer towards you as you send it further to the left. Okay, so again, it's up to you to scan and see what feels good, or whether you want to challenge yourself and take it to a position where it becomes slightly of a deeper stretch. Pull the belly button in here. Make sure you're not tensing through your neck and shoulders. Slowly, as you travel back up to center, passing the strap over to the right hand and abducting the foot leg open to the right side. You might need a pillow or a block to support your leg there, right? So your leg can rest on it, or it might hover. Do increase the grip if you want a bit more through the stretch here, through the pelvis, through the inner thigh and the tendon here on the inside of the leg as you flex toes towards you. Belly button in, relaxing through your hips and pelvis. If you want a bit more, your right hand and biceps are working, they're pulling. You're flexing on that right side and you're pulling the foot towards you, maintaining dorsiflexion of toes. Quadricep may be engaging. Back up to center as you travel. And you might bend the knee here and keep that shin vertical. Bring that knee down towards the floor on the right side of your body and just give it a little bit of a pull. One final flexion breath. Exhaling as we release. Shake out the legs just a bit here. Maybe hug the knee in. Hug both knees in. Circle the knees around, massage the lower back. Let's go ahead and switch side. Put the strap over the ball of the left foot. So again, double layered strap maybe, or single layer if your extension is a little bit tighter you're a little bit tighter through the back of the leg and you need that foot further away from you. Okay, so that way you don't need your strap and a buckle. You could use a towel also to do this. Okay. Again, allowing the hip leg to relax, taking the bend out of the knee. We don't need to lock the knee so hard, right? Don't ever lock your joint so hard. But do start to flex your toes towards you more And then you might pull a bit on each side just to notice how that Achilles stretch, calf stretch feels. And then slowly you might start to, again, use the biceps, your palms facing you as you bring that foot overhead, pulling more on the straps. One side may feel a bit different than the other, so again, come to your point of resistance and bring your attention to the breath. Contraction maybe through the quadricep, lengthening breath through nose. Exhaling through the nose. Good. Slowly as you begin to relax a bit here, pass the strap over to your right hand. So palm of the hand, right, comfortably grips the straps here. Foot heel travels away and we go to the right here. There is a little bit of a twist here, belly button draw it in, try to relax more. So you could keep it more passive by not flexing your foot. If you do flex toes towards you and you start to pull with the right hand a bit more, then it becomes more active. Lower back, mostly on the right side pressing, right? For the most part, the hips are touching. Sure, the left hip might be off the floor just a bit. You might look to the left, that's optional. Or you might just look up. Slowly as you release, and you navigate, you guide that left foot back up. Each hand takes a strap, and we might bend the knee on this side as we draw it towards the armpit. We'll keep the shin vertical, we'll dorsiflex foot toes again towards us here for a final little stretch here. One more breath. Exhaling as we release. The strap or your towel, you could put it over to the side. Shake out that knee a little bit as you flex, contract, and extend. Hug the knees back into the chest. Maybe circle the knees around. Massaging your lower back. Rocking side to side. If it feels good to take another little passive twist in each direction, go ahead and do so. Good. And now it's time to set up our final pose, which will be more of a restorative type of shavasana. So if you have a sofa nearby, you could scoot next to the sofa, get the hips really up against the sofa, and rest your legs on the sofa. This will really allow your lower back to settle down towards the floor. If you like a traditional shavasana, that's totally fine. You could lie flat and relax. Maybe have the bolster or the pillow to support your legs. This way, your knees lift off the floor, and again, your lower back and your hips really press flat against the floor. If you recall the way we set up with the blocks, that's another good option. We can bring the blocks again this way. You could position it a little bit higher now, so you set up a higher column with that back block,
and the other one could be again pressed against it, or again you could position it the way you had it before. What I do is I position it here to support the cushion or the pillow, and it creates a ramp for me. Then I'll come back and I'll get the lower back against the pillow here. 2 cushions might be better because this one is kind of thin. But I'm not going to grab the other one for now. I'm going to just come down and I'm going to come relax on it here. My legs, I could keep the feet together and relax them, the knees open again, or I could just relax the legs down here. And coming back, softening through the neck just a bit more, allowing the throat to stretch and open. If you want a bit more, you can interlace the hands and let the hands drop and relax behind you here. This is a great heart opener. It's really passive. The weight of your arm is doing the heart opening, the sort of chest rib opening here, okay? The fingers are sort of stuck together, but you're not making an effort to try to keep your hands here. Gravity's doing the work. The arms are suspended. You are just relaxing. If that becomes a bit much, slowly release. Hands can relax beside you. Your arms can relax and fall. And your breath is calm and steady. Maybe swallow once or twice to relax your throat. Relaxing through the facial muscles, the cheeks, the jaw, the tongue. And then gradually letting your natural breath to take over. Slowly start to wiggle a bit through the fingers and toes, keeping the eyes closed. Maybe rock your head a little bit left and right. And now we'll breathe consciously again. We'll lengthen breath, the inhale through the nose. We'll pause at the top, hold for a few. you sigh it out and release. So just try that a few more times on your own. Slowly as you blink, eyes open, and now your hands and feet are maybe moving just a little bit more. Opening, closing, motion and activity through the wrist joints, through the ankles also. Feet slowly come in. Go ahead and come to your favorite side, or maybe hug the knees first into your chest, and maybe press a little bit left and right here. And then nice and slow, come over to your favorite side gently as you press floor away. Feel free to sit on your cushion or sit on your block. And you could sit on the knees, on the shins, or you could sit cross-legged. So however you're comfortable, okay? Let's release through the head and neck just a bit here as we shake our head no, nice and slow a few times. And then nodding head yes gently here. Stretching throat open, inhaling. Exhaling chin towards chest, rounding back. Good. And if you want to stretch through the sternocleidomastoid muscle of the neck on each side, your hand can come across the opposite side of the head and gently let the weight of your hand and your arm settle into that side of the head as you release. Soften, relax shoulders. Do sit up tall, belly button draw it in. Slowly releasing, other side. And again, you might shake out the neck a few times, shrug and roll the shoulders around. And up, forward, and down. Excellent. This pretty much completes our practice for today, so thank you again so much for joining me. This is a free class, so you're welcome to share the link with others. Roughly about an hour or so, hour and 15 minutes, 10 minutes of a yin gentle practice. There are a lot more asanas that I incorporate through my gentle yin practices. There's only so much, of course, I could cover in an hour and 15 minutes worth of time. So thank you again so much for joining me. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. There's that thumbs up button at the bottom of the video, so hit that thumbs up button for me. It would really help me quite a bit. Please feel free to leave a comment for me in the comment section below the video. I look forward to your feedback. And there is more information on my website if this is your first time practicing with me. I'm James, and my website is ocyogi.com. I will leave a link for you also. As well in the description of the video, but do visit my website to learn more about my online yoga classes. I do them right here at home in the living room of my humble little apartment here in Costa Mesa, Southern California. And I do have a lot of active classes as well, vinyasa style, more hatha yoga style, physical yoga practices, from beginner to intermediate and also advanced level practice. So those videos you can't see because they're in private mode. I would release the link to you upon receiving your payment. So I do the classes on a pay-per-view basis, and I also have monthly membership options as well. So feel free to send me a message if you would like to inquire more about the classes. And there's plenty to choose from, so even if there's a few days where I don't, for example, a week comes and I don't record any practices that week, there are plenty of classes and styles of practice for you to choose from. So thank you again so much for joining me. I appreciate your time. Please help me spread the word about the practice, about this channel, and I look forward to our next class. Until then, be well, travel safely if you do, and namaste.